Does that phrase stagnant enrollment keep you up at night? If it does, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to build a complete playbook to help you consistently grow your school's admissions year after year. We'll cover the strategy, the timing, and the specific actions that really make all the difference. So let's get right into it. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to pinpoint the root of the problem. Then, we'll step into the shoes of today's parents to figure out what they truly want. With that insight, we'll build out a strategic playbook, put it all on a calendar, and then wrap things up with a powerful checklist to keep you on track. Okay, let's dive into section 1, the stagnant problem. Because here's the thing, before you can build some kind of growth engine, you have to diagnose what's causing the stall in the first place. So why do admissions hit a plateau or, even worse, start to go down? Let's take a look at the usual suspects. This question, man, it keeps countless school leaders up at night. But here's the good news. The causes are almost always identifiable, and you know what that means? It means they're almost always fixable. And here they are, the most common reasons why. Now, what's so crucial to see here is that these aren't just separate little problems. They're all connected, like a tangled web. A fuzzy brand leads to weak marketing. A quiet social media presence cuts you off from parents. It's a chain reaction where one weak link can compromise the entire effort. Just naming these root causes is the critical first step to breaking that cycle. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now for section 2, where we find the solution. And it all begins by understanding your most important audience, the modern parent. We really need to get inside their mindset to discover what's truly driving their decisions. This right here, this slide, captures probably the single most important mindset shift you can make. It's all about moving away from just broadcasting what you think is great about your school and moving toward deeply understanding and addressing what parents are actually looking for. So what's on their list? And here it is, their modern checklist. Now, some of these things are timeless, right? Safety, great teachers, strong results. But notice the new essentials making the list. Things like skill-based learning and tech-enabled classrooms. This isn't just a trend, it's a response to a changing world, where parents know that critical thinking and being adaptable are more valuable than ever. The key takeaway? Every single one of these priorities has to be a pillar of your school's story. And that brings us to the main event, Section 3, the Strategic Growth Playbook. This is really the heart of our explainer today. We're going to walk through 10 actionable strategies, broken down into 3 parts, that will become the engine for your school's growth. Let's get into it. We've broken this playbook into 3 parts, and the first one, the most critical starting point in today's world, is your digital foundation. Why start here? Because your school's first impression is now almost always a digital one. Think of these 3 steps as your school's digital handshake. First, your branding, your website, your photos, that creates the split-second first impression. Second, social media is where you start building a real relationship, showing the vibrant, day-to-day life of your school. And third, your Google profile. Well, that's what makes sure local families can even find you in the first place. And hey, if you ever doubt the power of social media, just look at this number, 90%. That means 9 out of every 10 prospective parents are checking you out on social media before they even think about scheduling a tour. An active, positive online presence isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's an absolute prerequisite. So what should you actually be posting? The goal here is just to be authentic. Show, don't just tell. Post student achievements, little clips from campus events, even behind-the-scenes stuff like teacher training. Every single post is a piece of evidence that proves you deliver on the priorities that parents care about, and that builds trust long before they ever step on campus. All right, let's move on to part 2 of the playbook. A strong digital foundation gets their attention. The next step is turning that online interest into a real-world connection, and, just as importantly, effectively managing those valuable leads. This is where the virtual becomes real. High-impact events let families experience your school's culture firsthand. But what happens after they show interest is so crucial. That's where lead management comes in, using a system, maybe a CRM, which is just a customer relationship management tool, to make sure you respond within minutes, not hours or days. Finally, you have to nurture your current parent community, because believe me, they are your most powerful marketing force. And that brings us to the final piece of the playbook, Part 3, On-Campus Excellence. This is the moment of truth. This is when a family walks through your doors to see if the reality actually matches all those online promises. This is where every single detail counts. The campus visit has to be flawless, and that experience is either made or broken by your staff and teachers. The journey doesn't end in enrollment either. By engaging your alumni and creating a formal referral system, you build a self-sustaining pipeline for future growth. I want to pause in this quote for a second, because it really cuts to the heart of the matter. A beautiful campus is great, but parents enroll their children with people, not with buildings. That feeling of trust in your teachers is the ultimate conversion tool. Investing in your staff is, without a doubt, a direct investment in your admissions growth. Okay, so that covers the what. Now for section 4, the when, because a brilliant strategy without a timeline is really just a wish, isn't it? Let's map all of these actions onto an annual admission calendar to make them manageable and super effective. The key here is to see the rhythm of the year. April to June, that's for laying the foundation, fixing your branding, getting your digital house in order. July to September is the engagement phase, where you build buzz and showcase your school's energy. And all of that leads up to the peak admission drive, from October to March, where you go all in on events, promotions, and converting those leads. Whew, we have covered a huge amount of ground. So for our final section, let's bring it all home. We're going to distill this entire strategy down into a single actionable growth checklist. This checklist right here, this is your blueprint. It all boils down to this. Build trust through transparency. Know what makes you unique and highlight those strengths. Improve all your communication channels. Be consistently active online. Train your entire team because everyone is in admissions. Track every single lead religiously. And finally, host events that create a genuine sense of community. And we'll leave you with this final question. Looking at everything we've covered today, from your digital branding all the way to your campus tours, what is the one first step you're going to take this week to start growing your admissions? Because the journey to sustainable growth always begins with that single, decisive action.